since C418, aka Daniel Rosenfeld, cut ties with Mojang, the music in Minecraft has felt different. Don't get me wrong, I think both Lena Raine and Kumi Tanioka are brilliant composers, with Lena Raine creating one of my favourite video game soundtracks of all time on Celeste. However, it feels as if the new music doesn't hit the same. But in order to figure out why that is, we need to understand what made the Minecraft soundtrack so good in the first place. And in order to answer that, we must first understand Daniel Rosenfeld as a musician. Before Minecraft, C418 was trying to create experimental electronic music, inspired by the work of Aphex Twin. But when Daniel received the commission to create the Minecraft soundtrack, he wanted to surprise people. You see, at the time, Daniel was playing a game called Dwarf Fortress, a construction and management simulator with a fantasy aesthetic which he described as probably the ugliest game in the world. Despite this, the music within the game is flamenco inspired, with a sole acoustic guitar playing the entire soundtrack. This isn't the sort of thing you'd expect from a game like this, and Daniel wanted to create a similar effect with Minecraft, a blocky retro-style game with an ambient soundtrack. So, with limited resources, a copy of Ableton Live, and a few analog synths such as a Moog Voyager, C418 got to work in creating the soundtrack of a whole generation. On the first track of Minecraft Volume Alpha, titled Key, you can hear this heavily electronically modified piano sound. This was created when Daniel heard the soundtrack to Blueberry Garden. This game uses classical-inspired piano recorded through a microphone with seemingly no EQ, reverb, or any effects whatsoever. The sound quality of the soundtrack isn't very good at all, but Daniel liked that and experimented with this sound. In an interview with Vice, Rosenfeld described this sound as 80% electronic and 20% acoustic, which gives this track a beautifully haunting effect, as if remembering a foggy memory from the past. This Blueberry Garden-esque piano sound can also be heard on the song Danny. This piece of music perfectly blends the acoustic piano sound with synthesized electronic elements, with the piano slowly guiding the melody as the synths gradually take over the track. As the music crescendos, all that is left is the heavily modified piano as the track fades out. This blend of acoustic and electronic elements perfectly encapsulates the surreal nature of Minecraft. The game somewhat echoes reality, but is a digital imitation of our real world in which creativity is brought to the forefront. This idea is also emphasised within Hagstrom. This piece of music opens with what sounds like a tuned percussion instrument, such as a xylophone or glockenspiel. This sound creates a sense of childlike wonder, as these instruments are often used as toys and are quite prominent within children's music. Once again, by the end of the piece, the electronic elements have taken over, and that surreal sense of warped reality is emphasised. For me, this track tells a story of adolescent creativity growing into something much greater, which does sum up the story of an average Minecraft world quite well. The final piece of music I want to look at also happens to be my favourite on the soundtrack, as it perfectly sums up the main reason why Minecraft's music has stood the test of time. This track is, of course, Mice on Venus, and I'm sure you've all heard it before in the hundreds of Minecraft nostalgia edits, but that is what makes this particular piece of music so brilliant. The nostalgia. The track opens with a synthesized drone that seems to be wobbling in pitch, which is then accompanied by a softly played piano. This track utilizes the sound of a descending bass line in order to convey emotion. This descending piano invokes a sense of bittersweet sadness, as if reminiscing on fond memories from the past. More musical elements gradually join the track, such as strings, which all builds to a crescendo, where all that is left is the piano. This part of the song feels as if the memory is being recollected, becoming clearer and clearer, and eventually resolves with a sigh of relief. Thankful that these memories exist, but sad that it's over. Now that we understand what makes C418's soundtrack great, let's have a look at some of the newer tracks. In the track Stand Tall by Lena Raine, it is evident that this piece is trying to emulate C418's style to a certain extent. This is because of the ambient drone that plays throughout the first 40 seconds of the song. As the piece progresses, a very clean, well-produced piano is added into the mix. One part of this I'm personally not a huge fan of is how clear the piano sound is in comparison to the lo-fi saturated piano used throughout Volume Alpha. The lo-fi sound utilised by C418 invokes a certain sense of nostalgia, as well as sounding timeless, which fits Minecraft's aesthetic much better. Towards the middle of the track, a bouncy piano motif is introduced and is continued throughout the piece. I find this motif a little bit jarring in comparison to the other more ambient elements of the music. Personally, I believe that this piece seems a bit too cinematic for the Minecraft soundtrack, and doesn't particularly fit the world of the game, nor does it share many sonic similarities with the other music within Minecraft. Another piece that I believe sounds a bit too cinematic is Comforting Memories by Kumi Tanioka. This piece has a piano melody that is repeated as a string section plays a drone which gradually gets louder and louder until it crescendos into a sudden stop. This piece seems to be going for a similar effect to Mice on Venus, hence the title, Comforting Memories. However, where this track fails is with the way the music builds. Mice on Venus manages to build a sonic landscape which reaches a crescendo without becoming completely overwhelming, and still fitting the overall peaceful ambient style of the rest of the music. On the other hand, the repetitive piano melody from Comforting Memories becomes tedious, and the droning strings are seemingly too loud and may overwhelm the player. Another part of the newer music that I don't like is that it is biome specific. For example, Stand Tall will only play in the Peaks biome, which completely ignores the whole point of having the music play randomly in order to create unique experiences. You see, the music that C418 created for Minecraft worked so well because of the way it was handcrafted to accompany the player experience. It was also the only music Minecraft players knew for a whole decade. In my personal experience, Daniel's music has made a huge impact on my life, with his album Excursion single-handedly getting me through the stress of exams in school. His music has also inspired me to create my own music in a similar style, such as this piece, which was used as a soundtrack to accompany an art showcase at the Lowry in Salford. The new music isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's impossible to recapture the magic of those iconic first few notes. If you made it this far into the video, give yourselves a pat on the back. And if you want to see more like it, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss another video. Anyway, thanks for watching.